If you're a lineman in charge of keeping the lights on, Grainger understands that you go to great lengths and sometimes heights to ensure the power is always flowing, which is why you can count on Grainger for professional-grade products and next-day delivery, so you have everything you need to get the job done. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
$1 million, free to play. You just need to survive. It's the Fanatics NFL Survivor Pool. Pick one team to win each week. Get it right, move on. Get it wrong, you're out. The last fan standing take home a guaranteed $1 million cash prize. And for every player who joins, we add $1 to the pot, up to $10 million. The Fanatics NFL Survivor Pool. Play free on the Fanatics app. App access open to all. Must be 21 plus and joined by 9/8 to play. No purchase necessary. U.S. only. Void where prohibited. Subject to complete terms. See fanatics.com/game rules.
The Stone Zone, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Joining me now is Dr. Kirk Moore. Kirk Moore is a respected 59-year-old physician and former Navy flight surgeon from Utah. He was facing up to 35 years in prison, not for harming his patients, but for honoring his oath to do no harm. You see, with informed parental consent, Dr. Moore administered saline in the place of COVID vaccinations to children and adults who were facing coercive mandates that threatened their jobs, education, military service, and even life-threatening transplants. Dr. Moore acted out of compassion and ethics, not criminal intent. He treated patients for free during the COVID crisis. He made house calls, and he stood by those whose medical autonomy was under attack. Yet he was relentlessly prosecuted, jailed for 22 days, destroyed in the media, and stripped of hospital privileges and board certification, all because he put his medical ethics and his honor first, always prioritizing informed consent and patient safety. This federal case was riddled with jurisdictional flaws, suppressed evidence, and procedural violations. Boy, does that sound familiar. Anyway, Dr. Moore, welcome to the Stone Zone.
Well, Roger, thanks for having me. I certainly didn't go through what you went through from the standpoint of, at gunpoint and all that. But, yeah, it was pretty hairy.
Well, I want to get into this because, and I want to give enormous credit to Attorney General Pam Bondi and the Trump Justice Department for dismissing all charges against you. That happened on July 12th, 2025. The Attorney General publicly recognized the unjust nature of this prosecution. Also, credit to my friend, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene and Senator Mike Lay of Utah for their advocacy in helping secure this happy outcome. This was more than just a legal win. It was a stand for truth. So let me ask you, you were prosecuted by the Biden regime. You were facing up to 35 years because of your refusal to submit to COVID-19 protocols during the pandemic. Can you explain the particulars of how this unfolded and indignities that you were forced to endure during this prior administration?
Well, Roger, you know all about it. The process is the punishment out of all this. And they did everything they could to make an example out of me. All I did was just do what was right and what I felt was right, what my patients, asked for. All they were looking for is to have a choice. And most people, almost everybody that we treated, didn't have that choice. Even my own judge during one of our hearings said that, well, the worst they could do is lose their job. The callousness of that kind of a statement is just the way our system is kind of geared towards right now. It's kind of like, do what the government wants you to do, or else you're done, and you don't deserve to be alive. You don't deserve to kind of contribute to society. That's the way the attitude is these days. It's kind of scary.
The politicization of our judicial branch is something I never really imagined. When I was falsely accused of covering up Russian collusion, which is, of course, an actual impossibility because one cannot cover up something that never actually happened. So when they said you lied under oath, what would be my motive to lie? What would I be covering up? President Trump's involvement in exactly what? Hakeem Jeffries, congressman from New York, now the minority leader in the House, he actually says in a tweet that Donald Trump pardoned Roger Stone, and in return, Stone maintained his silence about Trump's wrongdoing. I say it yet again, Congressman, waive your congressional immunity and I'll sue you in a heartbeat, because that's an egregious lie, but you won't, because you know you're lying. I actually was, I don't know, naive enough to thought when I was charged that, well, I'll get a fair trial. I'll be able to prove that there is no Russian collusion. There was no collaboration with WikiLeaks. Little did I know the judge would never allow me to enter any evidence on my own behalf. She wouldn't allow me to call the witnesses I wanted to call. It was a Soviet-style show trial, start to finish. And I have little doubt that had you proceeded to trial, this is exactly what would have happened to you.
Well, Roger, that's exactly what they did to me. I was precluded from bringing to evidence any patients that came to me for the vaccine and for the saline shots or, for the COVID cards. I couldn't bring anybody in and have them testify as to their own reasoning. I couldn't bring anybody that was vaccine injured, and I couldn't bring any experts in to talk about all of the downsides of the vaccine and the shots that people were given. So they were basically railroading me through. They didn't want to talk about the COVID vaccine because they know all about the downsides of it. And they knew that they were going to lose if that was the case. So they did everything that they could, just like they did for you, in terms of limiting our ability to even defend myself. I mean, ultimately, they accused me of fraud, and fraud requires intent. And therefore, intent should allow me to tell the jury, hey, what was my intention? What was I trying to achieve? And the weeks before trial, they filed 4 more motions that basically were going to preclude me from even talking about my own intent. The whole process, again, the process is the punishment. They do this to, they have unlimited budgets. I'm totally broke. They've nearly bankrupted me, ruined my business, ruined my livelihood. And that's their goal. That's what they're trying to do. They did it to Mike Flynn. They did it to you. They're doing it to anybody that they can that pushes back against their narrative. It's asinine. It's just so, the lawfare is unbelievable.
That's how it works, by the way. They don't allow you to mount any reasonable legal defense. In my case, for example, my whole case was based on the fact that the Russian intelligence hacked the Democrat National Committee and that I lied about it. Well, there never was any online hack of the Democrat National Committee by the Russians or anyone else. I wanted to bring expert testimony and forensic evidence from Bill Binney, who was the leading CIA counterintelligence IT expert, who could have proved to a jury of all Democrats that there was no hack of the DNC. When at my trial, the FBI was forced to admit that they had never inspected the computer servers of the Democrat National Committee, and therefore they were relying solely on the opinion of a third-party IT firm called CrowdStrikes. The judge refused to give my defense attorneys the CrowdStrikes report. Now, you're supposed to be able to see the evidence against you as a fundamental matter of law, but now, of course, we know why. The head of CrowdStrikes testified before the House Intelligence Committee under oath, as I did, and even he admitted there was no evidence whatsoever in his possession or in the possession of the FBI that showed that the Democrat National Committee had been the target of an online hack. In fact, the forensic evidence was just the opposite. It showed that based on the download times of the material that was purloined, that the material had been downloaded to a portable drive of some kind and most likely taken out the back door. But my lawyers were not allowed to have that witness called. They weren't allowed to introduce that evidence. So I've been exactly where you were, and I'm grateful to the Attorney General and to the Department of Justice for stepping in before this went horribly wrong. In general, how would you say you feel about the whole COVID-19 pandemic era?
Well, look, I think the whole COVID thing is just a fraud, the whole thing from beginning to end. I don't believe there ever was a pandemic. I think the actual disease and the COVID narrative was invented in order to launch the COVID vaccine. You can just look at everything. There were no excess deaths in 2020. Excess deaths didn't start until the vaccine was deployed in January of 2021. There were 700 deaths that were reported to VAERS by the end of January. There were 1,700 deaths reported to VAERS by the end of March. And now there's 40,000 deaths that have been reported to VAERS, since the COVID vaccine was launched. 40,000 vaccine. I mean, they took the swine flu vaccine off in 1975, 76 with reported 25. Some people say 25, some people say 50. But regardless, double-digit deaths. And we have 40,000 people that have reportedly died that have been screened and approved and documented on the VAERS database. We have a study that was done in 2010, I believe, a Harvard study that said that those numbers only show anywhere from 1 to 10%. So 40,000 deaths, that means that, it's either 400,000 to 4 million deaths have been, caused by the vaccine. And it's just what's going on right now is absolutely, it's truly scary. And what they're doing to physicians and what they're doing to the population right now is a mass genocide, is a democide, is my opinion.
I completely agree with you.
Running a business comes with a lot of what ifs, but luckily there's a simple answer to them. Shopify. It's the commerce platform behind millions of businesses, including Thrive Cosmetics and Momofuku, and it'll help you with everything you need. From website design and marketing to boosting sales and expanding operations, Shopify can get the job done and make your dream a reality. Turn those what ifs into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
Prime delivery is fast. How fast are we talking? We're talking puzzle toys and LickPad delivered so fast you can get this puppy under control fast. We're talking chew toys at your door without really waiting fast. Pee pads, cooling mat, and peg hammer fast and fast. And there's training TREATS faster than you can say sit fast. And now we can all relax and order these matching hoodies to get cozy and cute fast. Fast, free delivery. It's on Prime.
The Conjuring, Last Rites. On September 5th.
Come down here! I need your help! Lorraine!
The Conjuring, Last Rites. Only in theaters September 5th. Rated R.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Buying a car shouldn't eat up your week. That's why Carvana made it convenient. Car buying that fits around your life, not the other way around. You can get pre-qualified for an auto loan in just a couple of minutes and browse thousands of quality car options, all within your terms, all online, all on your schedule. Turn car buying into a few clicks and not a full week's endeavor. Finance and buy your car at your convenience on Carvana. Financing subject to credit approval. Additional terms and conditions may apply.
Two things that interest me. It's hard for me to understand how Dr. Anthony Fauci and his wife, who's also a high-level health official in our government, were allowed to directly profit from the very vaccinations that they were trying to mandate. I mean, that should be that should be illegal.
The Bayh-Dole Act allows them to do that. Something else that I found out about this, Roger, is pediatricians directly profit from the number of vaccines that they give into their clinic, and they get bonuses based upon the percentage of their clinic that is vaccinated. Oncologists make money from the actual the actual chemotherapy that they prescribe. They are directly reimbursed by the pharmaceutical companies based upon the protocol that they put their patients on. We're not, as physicians, we're not even allowed to own a surgical center because they're worried about us self-referring to people. Well, how do pediatricians get paid? I mean, it's not just pediatricians, anybody who takes care of kids. So family practice docs, internists, general practice physicians, pediatricians, anybody who does vaccines, OBGYNs, they get paid a bonus based upon the number of people that they vaccinate. How is that allowed?
Final question for you about the 2 minutes we have left. There's a surprising spike in cancers among people in their 20s and 30s. We had an excellent guest, Michael Caputo, the former Assistant Secretary of HHS, the other day, commenting on that. Your thoughts on that? Oh,
the number of cancer patients. I mean, I talked to a guy the other day who said he saw a 7-year-old boy with metastatic pancreatic cancer. I have a friend of mine who's actually a plastic surgeon here locally who sees breast cancer patients, and she sees on a regular basis women in their 20s with breast cancer, with advanced breast cancer that she's taking and doing reconstructions on. She used to see 1 or 2 of those a year, and now she's seeing 2 or 3 a week. It's the numbers are astronomically high. I just watched a podcast with Dr. Chris Shoemaker, who said that if kids aged 10 to 14, this was National Health Service in England and Scotland and Wales, that the increase in death in kids aged 10 to 14 was 82 times higher with kids that had 3 COVID shots. So 10 to 14-year-old kids that get 3 COVID shots are dying at a rate that's 82 times higher than kids that don't get vaccinated at all. So with the numbers are there, and we have to figure out how to stop this, and that's my goal now. I'm a free man. I can speak freely, but my goal is to get these COVID shots off the market and figure out how to try to, stop killing humanity.
All right. Well, it has been our great honor to have you today in the Stone Zone. I want to thank you, and we are celebrating your freedom, my friend. God bless you, Dr. Kirk Moore.
Thanks for listening to The Stone Zone with Roger Stone. You can hear The Stone Zone with Roger Stone weeknights at 8 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder,
what the heck is going on here?